primary recommendations and some secondary recommendations. Through talks with them, going back and forth, they recommended a couple of primary recommendations we complete in order to see if it helps with odor control. Through the past couple of months, we've been at a higher amount of complaints than normal over a history of time. So when we met with them last week, they said, okay, we tried your primary recommendations. Now you have some secondary recommendations that we made. Let's see if we can start doing some of those as well. So as of right now, basically the town engineer, who's unfortunately not here tonight, he's going to be working with DEM to figure out, what are you looking for us to do? And then we can start going from there as far as looking to implement that in the future.
So Jeff, once this happens though, so bottom line is, are we getting rid of the odor?
That's going to be the overall goal. And
No,
that's
I know
what we're
that,
looking to
but-
achieve.
Right, I know that, but have we found out anything? Because we've done studies and studies and tried this and tried that.
So-
Where do we stand?
Based on that conversation from DEM, it seems like the focal point at this point in time is going to be our sludge removal, which is our dumpsters and conveyors. So we're going to be looking to change up how we do our sludge removal, which I'll talk to you about that in a little bit in the council in a little bit, but that's going to be our main point of focus that the town engineer and DM are going to try and figure out what specifically do you want us to do to try and help that, along with our recommendations to them is what we feel we should do as far as what they think we should do.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Actually, so the DEM person that came out to the plant, toward the plant, and didn't find any orders until he got to that it used to be the compost.
Old compost building is what we call it.
Composting building. So there are some recommendations that we actually have put some in place,
Mhm.
putting some lime in the
Actually kind of goes
containers.
out with
Yes,
dosing, but
So we're pinpointing the problems, we're saying.
we believe that we are.
Okay,
But it's frustrating. I mean.
sure it is, but for those that live over there too.
I know we had a little pre-conversation before this meeting, me and Mark, and driving all over the state, whether it's Warwick, Cranston, Newport, it's Portsmouth the other day, it's everywhere. It's not just our facility. I just think it's,
A lot of you think it's the
Could
the
be-
fact there hasn't been enough rain, that's a lot of it.
And
Correct.
DEM did say that. DEM said that it's different. So we have to figure out what we need to, now that it's different. Yeah.
And just to finish up my report, there were no facility violations for the month.
Sorry about that.
any questions for Jeff? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Jim's not here tonight, so we won't do an industrial pretreatment.
Okay.
program. Financial update? Sir. I know you thought you had a little more time.
It's all right.
Tony's ready.
Financial update for October. Year-to-date operating and debt expenses for fiscal year 25 through the end of October totaled $3,706,084, excuse me, which is 39% of the annual budget. Expenses are down 22% versus the same time as last year. Overtime for the month of October was $14,666, which is 9% of the budget. Year-to-date overtime is $52,885, which is 33% of the annual budget. So we're right on par with overtime through the first third of the year. We also have realizing the savings in salaries of $22,053 due to a vacant lead operator position and a couple of team members who had been out, leave no pay. Sludge removal costs through the end of October totaled $329,485, which is 43% of the annual budget. That is high for where we should be at this point during the year, but as we've been discussing every month, that is attributable to having to offload more at resource recovery. Fiscal year 2025 sewer usage and industrial collections through the end of October totaled $4,077,760, which is 51% of the total billed. Prior year sewage usage collections year to date is $220,776, of which $18,571 is penalty interest. Fiscal year 25 sewer assessments through the end of October total $213,149, which is 94% of the total bill. Again, as discussed prior months, that's due to people paying down their sewer assessment balances. Third quarter industrial bills totaling $256,026 were mailed with a due date of December 16th. I know it says 15th on your report, but 15th is a holiday, so a Sunday. So the due date's the 16th. cash and investments through the end of October totaled $3,872,784. That's my financial report, Council President.
Any questions for Tony? Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome. Next item is resolutions. SC 2024-23, approval of the 2025 Sewer Commission meeting schedule.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion?
No, I mean, knowing that it's pretty routine, but if we make changes to the town council, that'll happen as well. So,
No other comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next is new business, sludge removal options.
Yes, so on Friday, I hope you all had a chance, or sometime between now and Friday, had a chance to review some options that I sent out, or sent to Mark to send out to you folks about sludge removal. So right now, in a perfect world, if we go to Cinegrow, it would be about $772,000 per year. That's pretty much what we budget for, a little bit higher than that because we such a offload at resource recovery a few times, but so a perfect world, 772,000. If we had to stop using Cinegrow and go strictly to Rhode Island Resource, transportation and disposal is estimated at 1.38 million per year, a lot higher cost. So there's a third option as well, which is a railway system. The company's called Epic, and their cost is going to be about 1.09 million per year. So still higher than Cinegrow, but less than the landfill. So a couple months ago, Cinegrow reached out to me and said, Jeff, we'd like you to talk to a subsidiary of ours, a company called Epic. They're a railway system. They have a station that they run out of in Massachusetts. And basically what they're offering is that if we decide to use their service, they would take the sludge from a dumpster, bring it to Massachusetts, and then ship it off, I believe, to the current state is Ohio for land application. So talking to Cinegrow and Epic, it makes me feel like I want to ask the council, or see the council's opinion rather, about, even though it's going to be a little more cost than Cinegrow, going with a different option that we feel at the facility is going to be more reliable and long-term. Right now, Cinegrow has turned us away a lot, as you've seen through the months. Our contract is up June 30th with them, so we don't know this next fiscal year what our cost is going to be. So based on what we have right now, we're expecting the cost to go up significantly from where they are. And that's even if they accept us as a client as well. If they don't accept us as a client, we might have to go out of state to look for another incineration company, or we're back to this Epic company at this time, where who knows where the rates may change between now and then.
Are you committed to this Epic? Like you have to commit for a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years?
As far as the Epic option, it is a 3-year commitment.
Same rate, 3 years?
I believe in the contract, Tony,
There's an escalator on every anniversary, but it's capped at 3%.
I think
It
it's
would be a
3%.
3% increase every year.
And they would come, you said a railway, so they would come here to take it out of our dumpsters?
yeah, so what happens is we have our 30-yard dumpsters that we use now. We put them under our machine, fill them up, pull them out, and put them to the side. Hauling company comes, picks them up, brings them to Cinegrow, dumps them out, and then brings an empty one back to us. Right now, once they're filled, we cover them with it's a kind of a hard tarp, and they take it out, they open it when they get to Cinegrow, they dump it, and then they bring it back to us as an open container. So not that's the end of the world, but if we do this other option as well, we'll have covered containers at all times. So when they get delivered to us, they're covered. When we need to use them, we have to take the cover off, and then once they're filled, we put the cover back on. So this goes a little bit into the DEM odor control study, or the odor complaints that we talked about. They want to see us having our dumpsters covered at all times. So it's also helping appease DEM for a portion of this as well.
Jeff, when they bring them back empty, do they stay uncovered?
Normally they do. And so we just start
They
getting,
don't clean them out, though,
they're supposed to. So not every time. And we've talked with the vendor about,
right? Attribute to your odor, obviously.
Yeah.
correct, and that was what we had to discuss with them as well, saying,
Who's not, like, so Cinegrow's not cleaning them out, or when we bring it to the landfill, who's bringing it then? Is it our guys that are bringing it?
No, it's a third party that brings it over there.
Okay, so who's not cleaning it out? Then the third party or Synagro? We use Synagro or both?
I think it's on both, because I think the driver has to take the cover off and then Cinegro will empty it out for us.
See in our contract, right, that they're supposed to clean it out. So that should be on them, right? The third party or Synagro?
So we're running off of an old contract right now. So we're waiting to see what we decide to do with this going forward as our next steps.
Gotcha, but I'm just saying, whichever of these three options we choose,
So,
they should be cleaning them out if it's part of the contract.
so with this third option that we've been talking about, this new option, basically they give you like a giant dumpster liner that they put in. And what we do is we fill it up, we cover it, they take it, put it on a train, take it wherever. When they unhaul it, what's supposed to happen is the lining that's in there rips out with the sludge, and basically, so it should be a pretty clean container at that point in time.
Do we pay for hauling right now?
Yes.
So the cost really is
So,
Synagro plus hauling.
so what Tony actually ran the numbers for me the other day, and these numbers include hauling plus disposal. So the 7072 that I quoted you earlier in this is
Hauling,
Synagro
oh,
plus
okay.
hauling.
Thank you.
Sorry, I should have said that earlier.
And the numbers for the potential new company is also includes all that as well.
Yes, they will do their own transportation and disposal.
But like you said, Synagro might go up in June.
We don't know
anyway,
what their costs are
if
gonna
they're even-
be.
If they're even able to take us.
Correct.
So
So I feel like we're running out of options, and I feel like this is the best option that we have going forward.
So with the third part, with the new.
The third company,
with the Third party.
third option.
The railway. Would it be, so they're agreeing to take us when they're agreeing to do the job?
Yes.
What happens if they pull the same thing Synagro does and says, sorry, we can't take?
I think you need to reiterate that it's a subsidiary of Synagro.
Yes.
Yes, so this Epic option is a subsidiary of Synagro. So Synagro, I assume, is not going to accept us as the type of client we currently are going forward. That's my guess. They haven't said that, but I think that's probably a good bet.
So what happens though if we go with this third, whatever we do,
Mhm.
are they able to turn us away and say, no, you can't come this way?
No, they want to give us their business because they're trying to grow their business in New England.
Can we get something in the contract that there's some kind of contingency if they say no? 'Cause there's nothing now for Synagro, right?
Can I interject?
Sure.
The meeting we had with Epic, sorry, it's getting confusing now. With Epic, if we sign the contract, the location and disposal is completely on them. They have to find a place to dispose of it.
On them.
It goes out of state, out of railway. So as an example, like the superintendent mentioned, if Ohio all of a sudden turns around and says, we're not taking out of state sludge anymore, it's on Epic to find a disposal at no additional cost to the facility.
They're in business right now?
Yes.
You
think you
don't
said it
have
was
a,
Fall
Oh,
River?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
So Fall River is the first company on this train. And we went to visit there just to see, hey, they were running for a couple of weeks. We asked if any problems, complications, said no, it's been a good process for them since they transitioned to this.
So Jeff, obviously going to Ohio versus Northern Rhode Island, it's going to take longer to get back and forth. How many dumpsters do you see anticipating going at one time and how many are you going to have on hand? Because I know you're limited now to how many you have. And if it's going to take 5 days to get a dumpster back,
I believe 2 weeks, actually.
Huh?
I believe it's 2 weeks turnaround time.
2 weeks turnaround?
So basically, where is it? So there's a contract, there's a one-time startup cost of $18,750. It will include 5 rail cars and 30 containers in that startup fee.
So how much sludge do you think will be steady sitting here while delivering and waiting the turnaround time?
There shouldn't be. That's the thing. So while crates are full and being shipped out, and we're shipping more crates out, more should be coming back, and we should always have a supply at the facility. And what they mentioned is that they'll have they plan on having I forget what the number was, 3 extra dumpsters at the facility. So thankfully they'll be covered and they'll be sitting there if we need them. So if there's ever some type of hiccup in the system or a problem with the railway, we can still have a couple of days of processing without having an issue.
So do you do one a day?
I'll say we do 7 a week, so we do 1 to 2 per day.
Okay, so they'll be able to take everything we have, right?
Yes.
So it's not like we're gonna be backed up having like, all right, we have 4 dumpsters there waiting for them to come.
No, as far as they made it known to us that they'll be readily available to pick up, because they're the same company that picks up and does the delivery, so it's all one organization.
And what is that? Maybe I missed it. What's the schedule like on the pickup?
Usually, it's 7 containers per week between, usually Tuesday through Saturday, so usually,
So they're picking up daily or they,
Yes.
okay.
And just not probably holidays.
So is it an
Correct.
issue if we're picking up Tuesday through Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Mhm.
If we have 2 containers down there, say, could that be contributing to the odor? If something is sitting like, say, all day Sunday, then all day Monday, and you're not picking up till Tuesday,
so normally at the end of the week on Saturday, that's when we send our last load out for the week. So normally our dumpsters are empty for Monday, and then we start filling back up. They're empty on Sunday, and we start filling them back up on Monday. And we fill them up on Monday, so they can be taken out on Tuesday.
okay.
What is the amount we're looking at, if you looked at the end of this year, combined, if you did the average, including all these extra trips to the landfill?
I do have that information for you, Councilman. So if we stayed with the current system of going between Synagro and the landfill, and if it remains as what the superintendent said, average of 5 loads a week, Synagro, 2 loads a week to resource recovery, based on what we've already spent at resource recovery this year. And again, I just want to preface, because it's very early in the year, a loose ballpark year-end estimate for Synagro and the landfill would be $958,000. If we transfer it to Epic effective January 1, that year end is estimated at $1,022,000. So we're looking at about a difference of a $60,000 increase. But if at any point Synagro turns us away and we have to start going to a consistent 3rd offload a week at resource recovery, we're going to spend more than that, $1,022,000.
And also, I mean, next year, if Senegal raises the cost, then that could offset that. Well,
Correct, and
Which we get our contract, you said
superintendent
June 30th.
said, I anticipate that it will. The last time our contract was up with them 3 years ago, they hadn't had the expenses that they've had the last few years, and they do a complete operational review of their expenses when they pass along their new rate. And our rate increase 3 years ago was 10%. So I have no reason to think it would be anywhere lower than that
So the switch
now.
Switch is very negligible, but it also keeps us a little more consistent.
Correct, and that's what we're looking for,
More of a gamble to go
consistency.
the other way.
Yes.
So where is the overage gonna come from? Either way, we're gonna be over, so.
So right now, well, I just want to throw this, proposal out there for discussion tonight. If the council sees that it might be a viable idea, I'd like to meet with the management team again and talk about some viable options. I think there's a couple different funding options that we might have available. So we just want to discuss and see what the best route is going forward.
I think you should explore it, so there's no question,
Absolutely.
because right now it's not, it's not working, so.
And that's even, you said they might not even accept us next year, so that could be another.
Correct.
And have we done any conversation with either the trust and or the solicitor regarding
They've
this?
both reviewed the
Yes.
contracts and said everything is above board and the assurance is in the appropriate places.
Any other questions? I think the best thing to do is explore it, bring it back to us.
All right. Thank you, council.
So since is there a timing issue when a commitment needs to be, with Epic?
So if it's all right, I think we were looking to start Epic on January 1st. If
Okay.
it's all right with the council, I'd like to see if we could bring it to the December 3rd meeting for approval.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment.
Any public comment on sewer? Hearing none?
Motion.
Oh, you have one?
The only question I have to that is, what is our weekly cost for trucking? That's the number that will really probably help you balance what they're trying to project to the council.
Well, yeah, all built in together, so.
Oh, I thought the trucking was extra.
No, I think the number.
No.
No, the numbers the superintendent had were
together.
Sitting
inclusive
back
of
and I'm saying,
trucking.
well, that number might,
That includes trucking.
yeah, I know he's going through a synagogue, but other people are too. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
sewer. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 2-minute recess. Gonna get Paula.
Thanks, Jeff.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks,
Thank you.
Josh.
Have a good night. Yeah, you too. Everything's good.
Oh, yes, happy Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Stick around for the show, yeah. We already got that
We
in
have
there.
it. Yeah. Yes, thank you. No, yeah, Sarah gave it to us. Thank you. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. You too.
Thanksgiving. We'll see you. Hello, how are you?
Paula, how are you? Good.
That's like 180 to play with.
Goes quick though.
It does, because all of a sudden you're like, oops.
Share them up.
People love people, so why should it be?
We could all shift the mic down.
Hmm?
You could all shift the mic down. Oh, no, Timmy needs one. Never mind. Sorry.
What are you recording?
I don't know if this should, but I read.
We don't use that.
No?
No.
I like it.
Over here on YouTube.
I read like the zoning, that's why.
Yeah, because it's not on. Yeah.
All right, I'm assuming Joe's ready, so let's go. Meeting called to order. Today is Tuesday, November 19th. I had to think of the month there for a second. It is now 6:32 PM. Town Council meeting in Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island.
Councilman Dennison,
Here.
Councilman Lichardi,
Here.
Councilman Messier.
Here.
Council Vice President Williamson,
Here.
Council President Goslin.
Here.
There's a quorum on record. Approval of the minutes of the November 12th, 2024 town council meeting.
Move the consent agenda.
Second. Moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Second reading of an ordinance related to camping on public property.
Move the ordinance.
Second. Moving second. Any discussion? I know we had a lot of discussion between the council last time. This is a second reading. Any public discussion? Oh,
I do have, I have a couple of questions
Sure.
as to whether I know what the ordinance says, but I don't know what the procedures are, if we have any in place as to how this is going to roll out. I'm not very, I still am very unsure of it. I made that clear last time. And I also am not thrilled if you do the math, if we approve it tonight, 20 days is right before Christmas. That doesn't seem right to me either. So I just, do we know how this is gonna work? Do you have procedures in place? Do we understand what's gonna happen? Because I know I haven't been told that.
When this endeavor started now a couple of months ago, part of our planning meetings on determining how to proceed was the pros and cons and the cost and the benefits, if there are any, on doing something that's been requested. So we have a template plan on what it would take from each department to complete their mission, because it would be a team effort, just like we have our encampment response team. Everybody has their piece of the pie, if you will, or their area of specialty. Everybody in those groups, the chiefs have all been involved. We've laid out what would need to be done, but there are some things that would need to be fine tuned. Like discussed, there'd be some disposal cleanup processes. There'd be adequate notice that would be done through most likely the police departments, and since they have the best system for proper documentation and identification, and then obviously proper storage of any material should it get to that. So we have a draft protocol that we have put together, but it would need to be fine-tuned as this comes to fruition.
Any other comments or
Yeah.
questions from the council?
Yeah, and I know we all got the letter from, statewide street outreach coordinator, and I know that they use the word raids, but I don't think that that's really like the correct term that I'm thinking of, that they're gonna be proceeding in. And I mean, I guess my only concern is what the process is from both sides, from the safety of both sides. I don't wanna see anybody get hurt from their side for sure, and definitely not from our police department or emergency personnel. I don't want to see it be a situation like that. So again, that was my concern from the beginning, is making sure that however it's done is, I don't agree with people getting arrested just for being homeless. So
Well, again, this has nothing to do
I-
with homeless. It's camping on public property.
I understand that. I understand that.
Hold on, I'll let public comment
Yeah,
go in 1 second.
again, and I just want to make sure that, I mean, I know that if we approve this tonight, it's 20 days, but it doesn't mean that.
We've been talking about it since June,
No,
you know?
Yeah,
so-
more
and-
than
and
that,
talking
probably more than that, right?
Probably.
Probably more than
For
that. I just
hours
want to
and
I
hours.
just want to make sure whatever process we have is done with care, I guess, from both sides.
Of course.
I know it seems obvious, but I just,
We've all said it. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
no,
I'm sure the people that in the department heads that we manage in this will also understand, and I think they're very compassionate with the whole situation.
and I know Mary Beth mentioned Christmas, and I don't think it's a matter of in 20 days that like, I think realistically speaking, it'll take longer for us to, but hopefully maybe the process will start tomorrow if we approve this. And
Well, the process has already started. I mean,
no, I agree, but it'll be a different process if we approve this tonight. It'll be a different
I
level.
agree with you, Jay.
Any other comments from the council? Public comment on this ordinance, one at a time, just state your name and address for the record.
Anthony W. Bryce, currently homeless, keep the area clean. Some other people, a lot of us don't have cash, they're moving in apartments. If you also look at the going rates of apartments, it's more than my check. So I have no choice but to live in the woods, and there's more than 50 to 100 people in West Warwick that are camping out, that have no place to go.
How many?
It's like 50 to 100.
No.
And most of us, not all, I try to keep the areas clean, safe, no fires and everything. Every once in a while, you do have somebody that will go overboard and cause an issue with your council members, fire department and others, but what are we supposed to do? We got no place to go. And the only option that I can see, and you just mentioned it, is the ACI for being homeless. Because we can't afford apartment. I know I can't. I get $1,000. Look at the reminder, $1,350. Plus security. That's without gas, electricity, food. What are we supposed to do? And I'm hoping all you council members can come to some type of conclusion for the homeless. Maybe, like you said, with the fire department, the police, so we're safe, because we live in the woods, there's a lot of problems down there. You got people strolling through, robbing your stuff. People are stealing tents, ripping them up. Once that happens, where we going? Your buildings? Empty houses? That's gonna create more people in jail. We don't want that. That's why we're living in tents. We don't want to be there, but we have no choice. And finding your hearts, you guys are talking about in 20 days, then what's gonna happen? We're gonna get arrested, go to ACI, all our belongings inside the tent are gonna get destroyed. And then we gotta start all over again, and then where are we again? Back in the woods. Same problem, it's a circle. You guys talked about when, but people, I hate to say this, urinate, they go to the bathroom. Last time I heard, there was supposed to be a couple of urinals on the bike path for the people that are driving the bikes and for the people to use. There's no urinals, there's no bathrooms, so little kids are going down on their bikes, people are peeing in the woods, doing number 2 in the woods, which is not cool for, but there's no place around here. After 9 o'clock, you can't use the bathroom. You gotta go, where you going? You're in the woods, behind a tree. I hate to say this, I'm a grown adult, I'm 55 years old. I make $1,000 a month. I can't afford a apartment. I can't afford a roll of toilet paper. And there's a lot of us out there that have no money. And they're panhandling, holding signs, which I don't agree on, but they're doing it to survive. And there's no help out there for us. We're trying to do the best by keeping the areas clean, no fires, and keep it nice and quiet for the community, for the bike path, the kids. We're trying, most of us are doing our part. It's not everybody. It takes one bad apple to mess up for the whole crowd. And I hate to say it, I got no place to go, except the ACI, which I don't want to go. I'm looking for all your sympathy, help, some type of conclusion on the homelessness. I have no clue how to survive, to handle it, because I'm in the same boat. I got a tent. I go back there tonight, it might be gone. Where am I gonna live? Well, I'm gonna go behind a park bench, behind here. Then when it gets me, handcuffs. It's not called for, and I can't speak on everybody. Like I said, 50 to 100 people out there. Scrolling, hanging at the gazebo, walking up and down roads all day and all night long. And I hate to say it, we get harassed by the cops because we're homelessness, and we're walking back and forth because we got no place to go, no place to hang. There's nothing to do. You guys, the boards, they mentioned going out like a shelter in here temporarily. You guys disagreed, which in one way I agree.
Just to clarify, it wasn't this board that disagreed on that.
Oh, see, I wasn't here for that meeting. I just heard about it. But, a small little shelter would take the people out of the woods and they would be safe in a place. And what's that gonna cost you guys? Or the state? If not, they're gonna put us up in hotels. You know how much money that is? And there's so many people out there, you don't got enough hotels. And it's getting worse because the places are closing. Look at the place in Providence. They closed, 2 shelters down last year. Those people are trying to go on the bridges. How many people are gonna die? How many people are gonna freeze to death this winter? Or on the bike path, or have a little kid find somebody frozen to death. I know I've seen 2 or 3 already in my lifetime. It's not a pretty sight. And I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Coventry, over by the bridge, they found 2 or 3 bodies over there. And that was 2 or 3 years ago. I'm speaking up on my behalf, and some of my, somewhat friends, associates, because a lot of them ain't here, because they can't speak. I can speak, but I gotta watch my tongue because I do get out of line. I think
We all
hey,
do.
I think we all do.
We all do.
But hey, I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of my friends and associates that are trying to come together to get out of this. We don't want to live in the woods, especially in this cold. We don't have heaters. That makes fires. You're gonna find people burnt up or city damage, houses, this, that, no. Yeah, all the mills. We, as me, I don't want that. I live in the woods. I won't go into a building because I'm breaking the law. Two, I'm causing damage. I want to be safe, but I'm in the woods. I'm not bothering nobody. I'm not doing no damage. I pick up my garbage, whatever I have, I take out every morning, put it in a garbage can. And hopefully they can do the same, and maybe there won't be an issue. I hope. Everybody is not like me, as you are aware. Everybody's different. And I'm speaking up from my heart. I don't like being homeless, and it's getting cold out there. January, February, it's gonna be freezing. Don't want no cop knocking on a tent telling you to hit the road, Jack. Or put cups on you, cause you're freezing and you ain't going nowhere because you got no place to go. You know, it's a circle. And I'm hoping the board can find in your heart, holidays, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving. We're all trying to get out of the cold. We're all trying to go somewhere where it's safe. And I just hope you guys can find in your heart to give us more time maybe, maybe address the issue with the garbage or, you know, maybe an extra garbage can here and there, or a urinal here and there. I don't know what the cost is, but a lot of people will start using it instead of throwing it into the woods or on the bike path where city workers gotta get paid and pick it up. And they make a lot more money than I do. You know, that's what I gotta say, and I appreciate all your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other public comment on this ordinance? Just come on up, state your name and address for the record.
I'm one of the homeless down in Tent City. I just want to let you guys know, like, you know, until the housing situation is straightened out, like, I know a lot of people want us off the drugs, they want us off the alcohol, you guys want us off the public property, but I'm sorry to say, until we can get low-income housing instead of building all these condos and expensive housing, we're gonna get mental health help. If we go and get sober and stuff, we come right back out here. And then you guys are upset because we have nowhere else to go. I don't understand how you can make it illegal for somebody to be homeless. That is a violation of
That's
human
not
rights.
what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here. It's camping on public property.
Okay, then where may we go, council? Where can we go where we won't be a problem? We won't be a nuisance. Like, we are people, you know? Like, that's all I gotta say, because I'm just gonna be rude. Just disrespectful. You know,
Right.
it's never free to do that. It's $800,000.
My name's Thomas Benoit. I've been homeless. I've been in a tent almost over a year. I'm out of it now. I'm living with a friend. I'm paying $400 a month. And in fact, I'm splitting half the rent. It's only temporary. This winter I may not be there. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it's gotta be some kind, you got property, you got the old mills that are falling apart. I don't know if that's your property or not, but there's an idea, you know, you can rip that down, make that land there. I don't know who owns it. If the town owns it, they can keep an eye on it, put outhouses up, you know. They could fix things up here and put your mind to it. I mean, you do have the extra money. You can't say you don't. I know there's plenty of tax money. I see Coventry, they got a lot of tax money left over too. They always say they don't know what they're gonna do with it. But you guys could have some kind of fund put aside that could help out the homeless, you know, to get them on their feet, have set up some kind of counseling where they're gonna report to a counselor. They keep an eye on these people, make sure they're, you know, staying up and up. I don't use drugs. I don't smoke pot, and I don't drink alcohol. I'm a straight arrow, and I see all the people that do drink and stuff. I feel bad for them. And like I said, I can stand for, like he said, he only makes $1,000. That does not go far. And I think you all know that. And there's not much you guys can do about it. It's from the state. But I mean, there's gonna be some kind of thing. Guys should sit down and put your heads together and figure this out instead of ticketing them. I hear they're gonna put up thing to ticket people for camping on private property. or being homeless, what are you gonna do with that money? Where's that money gonna go? I mean, there's gotta be some kind of way you can figure something out. You're all smart, intelligent people. These people, you know, they're probably some of them intelligent too, but what can they do with somebody to back them up, somebody that has authority, you know? Put your heads together, guys. I know you're all compassionate, but think about it, you know, really think about it before you make a decision about tax, giving people fines for stealing on private property. I know some it could be out of hand, some could be messy, but there gotta be something you can think about, you know, somehow to help them out.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I just want to know, like,
Your name and
my
address.
name's Ryan Noel. I'm not from, West Warwick. I'm part of a community outreach that's been working with them for like a year. So I'm trying to figure out like the end goal of this, like, what is it gonna help? Cause it seems like, you know, kind of a waste of resources, like going out and ticketing people, spending cops' time, trials, stuff like that, instead of getting federal grants and making a housing or something, a housing for them. You know, it seems like it's coming out of like local taxpayers' pockets and stuff to continue to do this. Now you gotta spend, to clean up a site like that's what, 15,000? So, you know, you're taking money for that, you're taking money for everything else instead of doing it the right way and bridging the gap of community and homelessness, you know?
So part of what you just said, just think about that, right?
Yeah.
The amount of money that it's gonna cost us to maintain and clean that mess up, when if this was in an ordinance already,
Mhm.
this would not have happened.
Mhm.
Okay, so now, yes, it's gonna be an expensive beginning.
Well, if you
but in
fix,
the
if
end,
you
it
fix
should
the
not be
issue,
happening
if
in
you fix the issue and you, and
Camping, no
people
matter
come
who
out
it
clean-
is, cannot be on town property,
Mhm.
public property.
So push them to the next town? So now that's Coventry's problem, that's Warwick's problem? Are they aware of this?
Your private property's problem doesn't,
So you just,
we
it
have
just
had-
seems like you're
sir,
putting
we've
people
had
already in a
numerous
hole,
discussions
in a
over-
deeper hole.
over the past 2 years, we've had numerous
Okay,
discussions.
and that was your only solution after all
No,
those
no,
discussions?
we've had
was to do
discussions about
citation?
finding a location for everybody maybe to go to, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
But we've also had discussions of campers
Mhm.
causing problems in neighborhoods, people who cannot live in their backyard anymore
Mhm.
because people camping in their backyard,
Mhm.
saying the wrong things, needles in parks, needles in playgrounds, all sorts of things. So, will camping prevent that? Maybe not, but
Mhm.
having the abundance and having the amount of situations we've had in the past 2 or 3 years in camping areas.
Mhm.
It's, again, there are many different avenues that we're trying, and this is one of them.
Mhm.
And there's other things that we're looking at. And again, we have a group that's working closely with many advocates in the town.
Mhm.
So, and they haven't been on weekly calls lately, at least that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know of, but they
Mhm.
were. And our own state hasn't been doing too well.
Mhm.
You know, there's been encampment,
Well,
there's
that's
been
why I think-
sites in Providence that they've had ready for all last year, but there's permitting processes and whatever else.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. Not everybody here came from West Warwick either. They came here because it was an easy route to
Mhm.
camp here.
Mhm.
So again,
Yeah,
this is-
I guess people want to see more, you know, when you're hopeless and you're in that hopeless state, you know, there's no way out. You see no way out. Just like you heard him say, you know, there's no way for him out. He gets $1,000 a month. So I guess it seems more important to find a way out for it, even statewide, instead of just ticketing and fining people, you know, before I see that only getting worse, you know, it's on private property. Next thing you know, you got someone in your backyard and your kids picking up, you know, whatever, who knows? But I mean, as it's now, they're confined to a path and they're away from, you know, everybody pretty much, you know, it's not like they're right, you know, I understand when they were right there in the midst of town, you know, but people told them kind of move back and they moved back and it seemed to have only gotten worse, you know? So I just was trying to see if there was any kind of solution, you know, before, sending people to jail, more taxpayer money, you know, to the ACI, but anyhow, all right, I said my piece. Y'all-
Thank you. Any other public comment on this ordinance?
My name is Jonathan Delgado. I am from 194 Cohasset Ave here in West Warwick. One of the things that I wanted to bring to the council's attention, I work with the Hess. I'm speaking on a personal capacity on today. One of the things that I wanted to bring attention to, through my Hess work was that, in the past month, we had the opportunity to conduct a small community, needs assessment survey. It was one of those things that we really wanted it to try to understand the plight of the West Warwick residents who are currently homeless. And some of the things that we found, and this is just the preliminary information that's been made available to us. We're still trying to work through the survey and have some final results on that. Sorry. We had, per our event, we had 51 attendants, 43 of which said that we are truly homeless. We don't have a place of our own to call home. Of 8 of those said they were struggling with housing insecurity, meaning, you know, they could be couch surfing or sleeping out of the vehicle and so on. Beyond that, one of the things that they were really keen on was that 43 of the folks that, you know, we had the pleasure to talk about this with said that if they had the opportunity to enter some form of housing, that they would be more than happy to do so. So they're not refusing housing. There's just what type of housing resources are available in order to not be homeless and not have this ongoing fight with the town about, you know, camping on public property. 35 of those folks said they would take recovering housing if it was available, which here in West Warwick, my belief is it's non-existent and it's dwindling throughout the state as well. 12 folks commented that if shelter would be available, they would definitely take sheltering as well. My question, based on those, you know, that very brief sample for the council would be, what efforts are being made by the council to connect with state or federal agencies to create some sort of housing project that would prevent the criminalization of the homeless folks here in West Warwick? Because, you know, it starts with a fine, it starts with the trespass, it goes up to the fine, and then it goes to another fine. And then, you know, it's going to end up with folks going to jail over $100. And, you know, as the gentleman previously mentioned, you know, he barely makes $1,000 a month, and that does not guarantee him housing of any sort, especially when the standard is you got to make 3x, you know, the rent amount in order to even keep a studio of any sort. And, you know, and that's if you're lucky, if you find anything that is suitable and is up to code at this point. So that's all I had to say. You know, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Derek, 36200. First of all, I didn't appreciate being verbally attacked by one of these people. That's number one. Number two, I work hard for my money, okay? You guys
Address
can-
the council.
They can be down and out, whatever. I've done my part to help. But for that to happen on the way out, you know me better than that. I kept my cool, okay? This town has no room and probably not enough money to build a school. But yet they want you to build some kind of shelter. This guy from Heads wants to keep coming up here and addressing the council to make you feel bad. The days of feeling bad should be over. They're destroying our parks. They're destroying our public space. There's no other choice. They're worried about where they're gonna go. Are they gonna go to another town? At this point, who cares? It's our place. It's our spot to enjoy with our family. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, and he wants to come up here and, oh, you should feel bad about this. He wants to give you statistics. Then tell Heads to figure it out instead of enabling them. Instead of enabling them, find a place for them to go. Build something. They got Thrive behind them with money. I've sent places to Wendy. Wendy, show this to them. And I know she does. But at the end of the day, it's not my problem. It's not your problem. It's not the taxpayers of this town's problem. Yes, there should be state level funding. Yes, there should be federal funding. But they're not doing it. So why should you? So that's all I got to say. But as far as that, I kept my mouth for the most part quiet, but I ain't gonna deal with that.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I want to take.
Mr. President, I've got one online for you.
All right, hold on one sec. We have one more here. Thank you.
Wendy, you can go.
Go ahead,
first.
Wendy, you first.
Wendy Bujo, 34 Patuxent Terrace, West Warwick. So at the end of this ordinance, it states, you know, the fines and punishment, whatever. I'm just wondering, what services are you going to be offering these folks?
Meaning what?
Or is the municipal court judge going to be offering? these
Meaning
folks?
what services? What are you talking about?
Acceptance of social services. What is going to be offered?
As far as what? though?
In the ordinance, it says that.
In the ordinance,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Want to answer that, Mark?
is
In
anybody-
the past, when I was the major that was the liaison to municipal court, the judge then would offer a continuance when a person accepted help outside of what the court provided. A lot of that was social services, the same thing in district court where they help facilitate people getting assistance and deferring a judgment until that time. If the person's complying and making positive strides, then the judge would offer a continuance before providing any judgment such as a fine or whatever. So that was what that wording relates to give. The judge always has that option, but just to highlight the fact that the goal of this was not a revenue maker. It's not about fines. It's about deterrence of the activity that you've all spoken of.
Okay. I'm asking because these folks are all engaged in the social services that are available, and they have been. We did learn a little bit more about the survey that John spoke about earlier, which the data will be out soon. It's being analyzed, but everybody is receiving services. And people have been out here for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, waiting on emergency shelter. Like updated in the system, whenever they can get updated, which right now it could be once a week at Shower to Empower. Like they're receiving all the services they can get, and there are no shelter beds. There's more folks outside statewide than there has been, and there's even less shelter beds available. And like, we gave you guys a solution wrapped up in with a little bow with all the services. It didn't work here, but it could work somewhere else. And like Derek said, and
Didn't work here, nor Coventry.
no, it didn't. And I understood that it was a whole different story with Coventry, historic building, you know, issues. But there is land in Coventry. There's more buildings in Coventry. I think we need to start talking with them again, because now we're just going to push our problem. These folks aren't going to stay here. They're not going to want no trespasses. That is criminalization. Once they get no trespass and then there's a violation, that's criminal. Like, and there's no way around that. And like I said, the district court's not going to offer any other services than what we already have. We just brought in more outreach to West Warwick. What are they going to outreach? There's nothing here. I just feel like we're a day late and $1 short on everything. These conversations need to continue. This task force needs to be formed. And that's bringing people in from the state. Maybe that's bringing people in from Coventry, but they have a problem as well. Let's get this taken care of. Instead of making front page news to say West Warwick passed a no camping ordinance, which is really about homelessness now. We know it is. It's not going to look good. It really isn't. And we've been trying this for years. Now, you guys had met with Woonsocket and, went over their task force, saw their report, saw what they were doing and agreed it was a great idea, and we still haven't made movement on it. And I think that's important. I think that we're taking the wrong step first. And if we had even just an area for them to stay at put a dumpster, they clean themselves, put a porta potty. I'm sure we can find funding from the state for that. Instead of just kicking it down to Warwick or Coventry, it's not gonna work. And so, and it's gonna cost our EMS, it's gonna cost our police department. It's more time, it's more paperwork. It's gonna take away from the really necessary things in town. Then if you want to talk about DPW cleaning up these encampments, when are they gonna fix potholes in the road? When are they gonna clean up trash when are they gonna hang lights for Christmas? Like it's not in the budget. Like, let's think about this. And let's try to work with the state and get this done. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
One more thing. My name's Thomas Floyd. They have a thing called Section 8. They got things like vouchers for housing. Now, I've been waiting 4 years from a state voucher. I'll get a place for myself, maybe a house, maybe, something nice. 4 years I've been on this thing, 4 years. I don't see what it is that I can't get on anything. I just don't understand. I stay right in touch with them, and I still haven't got a call or a letter saying I'm accepted on a voucher. So it's not like we don't look. It's not like, a lot of us are putting our effort into it. It's just, that to them, we're not important. You know what I'm saying? And they say it's a lottery. When the time comes, you'll get it. I'm still waiting. It's just crazy.
Thank you. Joe, I know you said you had one online.
Yes,
Yes,
hello.
Rivka.
Yes, hello, Town Council. My name is Rivka Reynolds. I live in Cumberland, but I work in West Warwick for Thrive Behavioral Health Services and Housing First Initiatives. I am in the encampments Monday through Friday, 40+ hours a week, and so are other organizational partners. I just wanted to shed a little light of positive things that we have done within the past year. Homelessness is throughout the state, and within the past year, we have been able to house 12 individuals from our West Warwick community alone, with another 2 in prospect coming in the very near future. I'm just stressing the importance of outreach and what we do, because it's not just about providing basic needs. It's about getting these people documented with the coordinated entry system, the crisis housing list, and continuing to work with these people. And I know if this ordinance is in place, it is going to disrupt the flow of what we do as far as our outreach and how we connect with these people and how we support with these people. As of recently, the number of unhoused individuals was 43. It is going down. We're at 35 individuals, and we're continuing to work with these people, again, over 40 hours a week, engaging and trying to find a solution. So I'm asking, what will be that solution? Can we set up a shelter for these people to go so that they're not vulnerable on the street? Because where they are tucked in into the woods, if they get kicked out of their homes there, you're gonna have more visibility of them. And where are they to go? What is the solution? What is the next step, and efforts in order for them to be safe? That's just my light, but I just wanted to share those numbers with you. I'm deeply saddened with this ordinance, and if it is going to take place and go into effect, can we ask for more time so we can figure out a solution? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Last time.
Just 2 quick questions, out of curiosity primarily. The first one is, and I don't remember, and I wish I did. What efforts have been made recently to connect with the adjacent towns in regards to this? Potentially developing some sort of, collective effort around the homeless folks. Obviously West Warwick has folks who are homeless, Coventry, Warwick. What about creating a more united front to that end? Just so we don't keep going in circles and having like definitive efforts and into that. So that would be one. And then number two, is there anything in the current ordinance that would provide expanding funding for EMS, the police department and DPW in terms of, the amount of work that they would have to do if this were to go through today? I haven't seen anything, and maybe there is something in the plan, but I just wanted to hear from.
There's nothing in the actual ordinance as you asked. So no, there's nothing in the ordinance.
Oh, all right.
Mark, if you want to answer the first one with collaboration of other communities.
So there has been numerous discussions, specifically mostly with Coventry. And like someone said before, we did meet with Woonsocket. They have different levels of abilities and available properties and community partners and private engagement, specifically in Woonsocket, that they've been able to engage. We haven't been able to do that yet, but I know someone who attends this meeting quite regularly has made a very aggressive push for the state to re-engage the commission. We're sadly eagerly awaiting that to come to fruition because, again, we've all said it and recognized it, that this is bigger than West Warwick. We need the state's leadership because the problem doesn't stop at the West Warwick dotted line before you move to Coventry. It's a wide-reaching issue, something that the solutions, I believe, are going to end up coming on a more broad level, probably through the state with local assistance. Sadly, we like everybody else, we struggle with solutions. We don't know what they are yet, other than we've obviously identified and do our best to help foster the affordable housing developments. Obviously, those are private parties that are coming forward, asking for our support of their plans. And we have a lot of those in progress, but it's not something that happens overnight. And I don't think we'll be seeing any of those ready to open until sometime next summer, which doesn't help us for the winter.
So I have a question for you on that, on your question one. So you belong to an agency, correct? Work for an agency?
Yes, sir. I work for.
So do the agencies, say in the Kent County area, do they get together and try and come up with a solution of what's going on? Do you have roundtable discussions? Because, I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time. And it seems like each meeting, different people come to the meetings, with the questions and concerns and all that, and I get it. But everything's put on us from two sides now. It's the people that are actually out there camping and the people who are not. And a lot of the people who are not are coming to us with issues. And this is why this whole thing came about. It's not a personal thing with anyone. But when I have a constituent, a taxpayer, a neighbor come to me and say, this is going on down there, or at one of 11 encampment sites, which is what we were told at the last meeting, 44 people, 11 encampments, that's what we were told. The number of 50 to 100, I'm not saying you're wrong or you're right. I'm just told, being told a different number. And we just heard another number here on the Zoom tonight. So, but people are coming to us with health concerns. And one of the last ones was at River Point Park, and this was put on Facebook. We were sent an email regarding a dog that came out of the woods. And I don't know all the details, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, because I don't think you know more about it than I do.
One of our officers work there.
One of our officers were bit at River Point Park. Soccer's at River Point Park. And first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, is the officer okay? Number one. Number two, what if that was a kid? What if that was a 5-year-old kid and a dog came up and bit that kid? Where's it going to bite him? In the hand, in the arm, or in the face? And that's a problem, that's a concern. And from my understanding, the dog belonged to somebody that was camping in the woods. And that's not okay. And we're getting, and I'm not saying it's any of you at all, but that's what the reports that we're getting, and these are the concerns that we have. In fires, I mean, we get reports on a regular basis of unsafe habits that are taking place, and there's too many, and there's too many concerns. And as far as the cleanup goes, talking about money for cleanup. Cleanup is right, it's right there right now. It's not in the budget. It's not probably gonna be in next year's budget, but it has to be cleaned up. So if you cleaned it up tomorrow, or you cleaned it up 2 months from now, it's gonna be relatively the same. It has to get done. We've given dumpsters, correct? Are they used?
Given dumpsters on East Main.
Are they used? Are they used for cleanup?
I can't confirm or deny.
I mean, it's not like everybody comes up to us and say, you know, that we're not compassionate. We're doing our part. We have a task force, hang on, we have a task force that town manager put together with the police chief, fire chief, and DPW that goes out every other week. I mean, I don't know what else more that we can do here. The situation is unsafe, and that's why the ordinance has been created. So. Do what, though? What would you like us to do?
Guys. Did you answer your questions?
Yes, sir. Just generally, just there's feels like, you know, clearly there's a disconnect. I'm not saying that, you know, people's efforts on both sides are invalid, but I guess bridging that gap between achieving, you know, supportive housing and addressing the concerns of all the citizens here in West Warwick would be a good accomplishment, a good notch under the council's belt. But, you know, as for my two questions, yeah, thank you for providing an answer on that. So, but overall, I think the council, I'm not saying it hasn't done more, but I guess there could be more presence in those community agencies that are available, that have been doing the work, that are the new ones that are coming into town to try to do some good outreach work. That's just my take on that, at least. You know, I understand everybody is, you know, has work and lives are doing and all that, but it would be good to connect with the council regularly about this sort of discussion, and really, you know, get to know one another and get to know the other side in order to facilitate some answers for everyone in town.
Well, that's where I think you're blinded. And I'm gonna be blunt. I think this council, I know Mary Beth's been very involved. I know I've been involved in meetings. I know I've talked to people who are charging their cell phones, free electricity, not theirs, free electricity, talking to them, finding out their story. What's the issue? I've messaged other people. What's the story on this individual? I watched a guy charge a car battery with a 110 outlet with 2 power cords plugged to it, ready to basically fry himself and burn down a little building. Okay? Had a conversation with him, asked him what he's doing. Said, hey, when you're done here, just make sure you keep it clean. Guess what I came back to the next day? Missing cords, garbage under the bench, the same can the person was drinking, smashed right there. You want respect from us, but when you talk to somebody and get their feeling, ask them how they're doing, ask them if they need anything. I offer jackets. I've given furniture. I've done a lot of things. Okay? So for you to sit here and say that we're not engaged, I take that as an insult too. Just like somebody said, we insulted them. Many of us have a heart here, but many of us also have to report to constituents that are paying high taxes. These aren't the lowest paid taxes in the state of Rhode Island. And if you can't live in your backyard peacefully, then what job are we doing here? What are you doing? When you know they're disturbing people's houses, what are you doing? I want to put this on you because you're the advocate. You're out there daily. What are you doing to protect the residents of West Warwick? Nothing. You're helping the people out there, which you're doing, but you're not taking consideration of the people of West Warwick.
I would have to disagree, sir.
Well, you want to disagree with me? I disagree with you.
Yeah, and
That's where we stand.
and I feel like we're entitled to that. Obviously, we have, you know, a difference in opinions. it would be, I guess, false to assume that I know any of the council members here, like, directly, and I know everything that goes on in your life 24/7, but all that I'm saying is that I guess it would be, beneficial, to connect regularly about this sort of things. And I'm saying at the organizational level, I'm not saying at the one-on-one, because I think it's wonderful that you've been able to connect with folks out on the street and, try to be a help. And, I'm not gonna deny that somebody's good, the kindness of their heart and really trying to, make a difference in someone, whether somebody takes to their kindness or not is not, there's nothing I could do. I could try to change minds, but I can't change hearts. I'm not a miracle worker. But, I'm not saying that, you're not doing anything, but I feel like we could be doing more and we could be doing it collectively. So that's all I'm trying to say. If if maybe the way I worded it was not the way it was intended, but I guess that happens, and that's why we're having this discussion here today, to try to get a better understanding of things. So that's all.
2016, my first time, my second meeting on the town council.
Sorry about that.
My second meeting on the town council. I have a guy up here screaming at me because we have an encampment in the woods on Pulaski Street. I have no idea what to do. I knew they were there, many tents, but you know what? We have the problem. Let's try and find a solution. So that meeting in December, we put together call it a task force with Help the Homeless, Andrea Smith. We had a church group. We had, my wife was actually headed that, and she was out in the woods, either alone or with me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to talk people off a ledge. Bottom line, in 9 months, people were out. They were in homes. They had in homes or residences. They had jobs. They had medical. They were back into society. So don't say I don't have a heart.
Well, sir, I didn't
You just
say
did.
it.
You just did. Said
I
that we were
didn't say
heartless.
that.
So when I'm out at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to talk somebody off a ledge, and I got a lot of crap over this, by the way, because nobody wanted to deal with it. Well, what are you gonna do though? I think we're doing our part. I really do. And a lot of it is coming onto the town council. But you're an advocate. I respect your position. Believe me, I respect your job because I know it's not easy. But I think it's time for the advocates to get together with Coventry and Warwick and East Greenwich. And then work together to say, we have the problems here. We know you have problems there. What can we do?
I feel like
Because right now, this isn't working. This is unsafe. And we can't condone it. That's our job. We can't condone it.
I understand, sir. It's just, I still feel that, well, sorry about that. On to that end, it's just a matter of connecting more. And, there is some history that I'm not privy to. I moved to town back in 2019. There's a lot of history that I'm still learning about. And, I've been on this particular role for the last 11 months, and there's still a lot of stuff that I'm learning. So I'm not trying to discredit your efforts because, being up at 3 in the morning trying to make a difference in someone's life, that's tough. I worked as a medical interpreter during the pandemic on the overnight shift, and I know how difficult it could be, like, to be of service to someone at those hours and try to be, a difference maker. So I'm not calling anybody heartless. That's not what I said. If I wanted to call somebody something, I would say that. There's a clear disconnect. We're still very disconnected. And it's not just about, kind of like working in the silo of like the community agencies. It's the community agencies and the town council. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I'd love to have one-on-ones with each and every one of you and really get to like work together. That's what I want to get to, and do it and do so consistently. Because otherwise, you're going to feel the way that you feel, and I might feel the way I might feel. And there's other folks in the community that, are going to have it, indifference and opinion, but this is not about, sacrificing safety. I don't want to sacrifice anybody's safety. I want all of the town residents to do well, both those that are fortunate enough to have a roof over their head and those that are unfortunately, living outside in the tents and trying to make the best of things with whatever they can. That's all. So, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you. Council, just if you will, operationally,
Right.
whatever the council decides to do with this ordinance this evening, the town,
Continue.
at least the administration, is going to continue
Yes.
to work with our partners looking for adequate solutions. This ordinance isn't the end. This isn't to wash your hands of it and pretend it doesn't exist. The issues clearly exist. We're going to continue working hard to come up with solutions. I understand the council feels that this is a tool to negate some unsafe and inappropriate behaviors, regardless of the other circumstances. But we're going to continue with our partnerships and engaging whoever we can to come up with appropriate solutions.
I mean, we heard that there were 43 people out there. There are 35 now. It's down and, Chief Perone, I'd like to hear from you if we could. This is not, your name is John, is that correct? John, so this is two different things that we're kind of talking about, and I would agree with what the town manager says. We will continue to work to find a solution, and we can all sit here and say this is an encampment, it's a camping ordinance. The reality is, one impacts the other, and there's no question about that. I think I've heard from all my fellow council people that no one has a desire to criminalize this. Again, we continue to need to have the advocates out there. I don't know that this is the best answer, but it's a step. And I can assure you that at least from my perspective, and I think I could probably safely speak for the rest of the people sitting here that, excuse me. So it is not, and then this is not the end. I said that at the last meeting. This is maybe a step, but it clearly is not the end. And Wendy and John and all the people that are out there doing the work, along with Chief Verona and the team that's out there, kudos to them, and we need to keep slogging along and doing that as well. So.
A meeting this afternoon with our community partners, obviously this was the topic of discussion.
Mhm.
A few of the things that they wanted to make sure that were brought out, were that, we'd be displacing, adult disabled individuals and, displacing them further. And in addition, like the people who are doing the counseling, okay, have built, a rapport over years, and they're concerned about that rapport diminishing. They want to work, no matter which way this goes, our community partners want to work with us through this, going forward. Okay. They would like to see more of the council at, meeting with them, and they're trying to figure out a way to do that within the open meetings and whatnot, was part of their concern.
Yeah, by law, you're only allowed two,
We're only, right.
especially if it comes before the council ever.
So, those were things that were on the discussion today. As far as the numbers, they were down to 36, and, that two people would actually bring it down to 34.
But just
Okay,
specifically,
but
the encampment or town.
Now, and so the reason you're hearing different numbers again is the total homeless, there are people who are couch surfing, staying with a friend here and another friend there. When we give you the numbers, those are just the individuals that are in tents in the encampments. Okay, so it doesn't take into account all of the people who are suffering housing issues. Okay. There was one other thing, and I know I'm gonna forget it, but, that's pretty much it for now. So, that's,
And you're scheduled to go out on Thursday?
we are scheduled to go out on Thursday.
With the rain, will that take place?
I believe, yes, it will take place.
Okay.
right now, I think, last I heard it was rain was gonna start mid-morning, so hopefully we can get it done before that. But if not, we'll, run some rain gear and we'll get it done. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you. This gentleman's next, because he hasn't had a chance to speak, because I think he wanted to speak.
Joseph Warren. I don't live in West Warwick, but I do a lot of outreach work in the community, And, I understand where you're coming from, Derek. I can see all sides of this. And, I think we've done a lot of progress in a short period of time that I've been involved in it in the last year. And it takes time to build relationships. These people, a lot of these people they do not want to bother with nobody. They've been wrong their whole life, and some of the people haven't had the easiest life, So I get it. I don't want them out there. I don't want them to be out there. Definitely not near a school. I totally agree. Having the dogs out there, bad idea, all that. But all I'm asking for is even if you guys do pass this tonight, we need some time to collaborate with the other towns and the police and the town officials and everything. Would you give us a stay of any kind of enforcement?
I'm sure, and I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I'm sure the people that will be enforcing it will be taking it as a case-by-case basis.
Because it'd be greatly appreciated if we could make a little bit more progress and get more people out before it turns into bad situation.
I could tell you it's not gonna be like a giant raid and we're gonna go with bulldozers and knock everything over. That's not what.
But it's gonna turn into.
No, but that's what people are
gossip and
turning it into, and that's not
We need time to get out there and explain, listen, this is not what it is.
understood.
But have you been doing that though?
Excuse me?
But haven't these discussions been?
Yes, but
taking
it doesn't
place?
go very far sometimes, but you're dealing with people that have mental illness, drug addiction. You know what I mean? Trust issues. It's a slow process. When I first started doing this, people wouldn't even come out of tents. Wouldn't even, you know what I mean? I built a relationship with these people. I've been homeless. I wasn't always the best person in my life, okay? You're looking at somebody who was facing 20 years to life in prison, okay? When that happened, when the state of Rhode Island is against you, they have all the power in the world. You're done, okay? I changed my life, okay? And now I have a clean record. I work for the state of Rhode Island. I've changed my life around, and every one of those people has a chance to do that. And that's what I want to see happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Last comment, Derek, if you're gonna get up and speak. Oh, we have one more online.
So before I got reprimanded, I was trying to stop you from getting off topic because people in this town like to file with open meetings violations. This is about a camping ordinance. Nothing about homeless is even in there. That's what I was trying to save you from. But if the wrong people are watching, you're gonna get the violation, and you know how that works. And Mr. Williamson will have to keep continuing to stop you from talking and stop you from talking. Am I right, Timmy? That's how that works. So I'm sitting here trying to stop you, and you reprimanded me. That's all I was trying to do. The ordinance says camping. It doesn't say homeless. It doesn't say encampments. It doesn't say nothing. It says preventing and stopping camping on public property. Just trying to keep you straight.
I think I said that numerous times.
And it's one piece.
Do I have one more online?
Kathy wants to be the main event.
There I am. Hi, Kathy Schultz. I guess I'm an honorary, according to Jay. Thank you, Jay, for that. I actually wasn't going to even watch this tonight, but I just want to kind of reiterate, there was a question, and I think John had asked the question, and thank you for acknowledging that you might not know some of the history. The town council, along with the health equity zones and the community partners, have been sitting at the table for about 4 years now, over and over and over, especially when winter comes, having this conversation. And I'm going to be a broken record and say that we talk about shelters, but I actually think of 24/7 navigation centers are the solution, because that's going to also address some of the folks that might have homeless problem solving issues, so that we can try to tackle them ending up into homelessness. But I want to say that I don't think that the town of West Warwick is responsible for that. And I say this every time, this needs to be a regional approach, and it does need to include also state partners or state agencies. my role as a human is Kathy, but I am also the Executive Office of Health and Human Services. And I do want to also answer specifically about supports for some of the municipal like fire, police and stuff like that. There is actually a municipal grant that is available right now. It's through opioid settlement. And it's on the EOHHS website. So that is available to the municipalities if that can help to at least provide some support for your emergency services to get some of that out there. And then finally, I just want to say thank you to the advocates for being here. And also thank you to town council for keeping it real about the advocates. I can say on a regular basis, the advocates do meet, they do coordinate, and they do try to coordinate with each other. When there aren't brick and mortar resources, it's almost impossible. The only option is to actually get folks housed. And as you heard, it's a very, very, very slow process. But I want to remind you, with a lack of housing and a lack of vouchers, the fact is that the number is going down. So West Warwick should commend it. So, well, the advocates and even the town for continuing to have this conversation should commend themselves on this. As far as the ordinance specifically, if the folks are displaced, the outreach workers and the people that are working with them are going to have a really hard it's going to be very difficult for them to re-engage. The trust, even with the community partners that are providing the services, will be impacted by that, because it doesn't matter who's telling them they have to go. They are going to be traumatized by it. So I just want to put that out there. And I hear all the residents and I hear all the concerns. I get it. I'm not saying, but I just want to tell you the reality of what will happen whenever there's a displaced people, increase of fatal overdoses, increase of mental health trauma responses and some of those things. I mean, I know it's tough now, but it will get worse because if they're displaced, then it's going to be harder for the services to get to them. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, no other comments. Gonna take a roll call vote. Or any other comment from the council? Hearing none. Jay?
Yes.
Jason?
No.
Mark?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
I'm gonna vote no for now because I'm not sure how it's gonna work.
And I'm voting yes. 3-2.
Business licenses. Request from the West Warwick Wizards Athletic Awards Association for a raffle license.
Actually, we're
We
just
can
gonna
take 'em
approve all the business licenses in one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So move the business licenses.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Any discussion on the business licenses? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All business licenses have been approved. All theatrical performance shows have been approved. Dance live band license renewals, renewal of constable licenses, and that's it. All been approved.
Appointment and resignation request from Timothy.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna ask that we take no action on this tonight.
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
Hold
wait a minute.
on, hold on.
That
I
was
just
just
wanna
business
clarify, we
license.
only-
Yeah, no, we
we-
only did business licenses. We didn't do
Oh.
theatrical.
Right, I'm
Yes,
recusing myself.
because
from
I have to recuse myself as well.
Same, all right.
I
Yes.
thought we did them all.
No, just business licenses is all I
Okay.
moved.
I'm recusing myself
Yeah.
from the next two.
Yes, I moved,
We only approved 1 through 3, correct?
Okay.
yes,
1, 2,
business
3.
licenses only.
Just clarifying.
Yes.
I didn't know if you read it.
No, yeah, no.
I thought we said all, so.
No, we said
Alright.
business licenses. Yes.
So 1, 2, and 3 have been
Yes,
approved.
I'm recusing myself from the next
Theatrical
two.
performances and shows exhibition licenses, I actually have to recuse myself as well.
So you have a motion to move theatrical shows and exhibitions.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
I have a question.
Any other, go ahead.
On number 19, unforgettable events, is that the one that was in question?
That was my question.
At New London Square?
That is.
Okay. Where,
It's
where,
changed.
where are we with that?
Like anything else, in order for this license to be approved and go into effect, they have to have the approvals of all the departments. So if any of the departments have yet to approve them, whether it's building or anything else, it's all pending. So
Okay.
you can approve it pending the other departments' approvals of what they were looking for, because they had the one for the state.
Right.
Building,
Do we have anything on? Is there
Haven't
been
heard.
any progress?
I have not heard, but I will follow up in the morning.
That's not before you.
That's
Alright.
not before you right now. The only thing before you right now is you can approve it pending the approvals of other
Pending police,
departments.
fire, and tax approval.
Okay.
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Dance live band license renewals. Do I have a,
You want to get them back in?
are you guys good for dance live band?
Dance Fever.
Boomerang's on there, right?
I'll move the, dance live band renewals.
Second.
Moving second. Any public discussion? Any other discussion from the council? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And renewal of constable licenses. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Moving
Yeah, we
second.
know all of them.
Any
but-
discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Appointments and resignations requested from Timothy Sullivan for appointment to the Westwork Zoning Board of Review as a full member.
So before we move this, there is no actual spot. We've already appointed somebody and I'm not comfortable taking that appointment away at this time.
Yeah, one would have to come off, right?
So
Well,
the
they'd
last
have to
individual,
switch.
yeah, the last individual we appointed was by the name of Stephen Canero
Mhm.
to a full position, which unfortunately, we did not get an application from the alternate at the time. So at this point, I think the alternate would have to wait until the next, I mean, I don't feel comfortable taking
agree.
an appointment away and then
We meet the requirements.
we met the requirements.
Not
yes.
to mention, it was said in the email, or, yeah, I think it was an email, that they went in that order. Specifically, they had agreed that would be the order.
No, that was with, the way I read that, and maybe I thought I read that Jerry moved up and there was agreement between Jerry and Tim that that would happen and that Tim would get the next one. Well,
He didn't
we-
apply for it, so unfortunately,
But
again,
that agreement has no bearing on this.
No,
council.
I agree
no,
that.
right.
Made an agreement
But I
amongst
mean,
each
that's
other,
what I'm
but
just
not-
saying what that says.
This should be a lesson, though. I think, I feel the chairman of a committee,
should
you're-
let,
you're the chairman, whether it's a commission or a committee, that's your role to know that there's always somebody that comes up every year. There's an appointment that comes up, renewal.
Yep.
So somebody's up, who is it? They should know who it is. They should know when to put the appointment in. And that person who wants to be reappointed should apply. And if they don't want to reapply, then they won't. So that leaves it open for an alternate.
It might, I don't know if it's
Pretty
possible to
simple. It's
actually
only-
task the chair of the commission to make,
It's
to
only-
make the
Believe-
recommendation.
Believe it or not, the political party, the committees in town, the Republican and Democratic chairs used to provide a recommendation to the council as to how you fill either an alternate or a full-time seat.
yeah,
They don't do that anymore.
I know Tim Sullivan he's a very good guy. I think he would, but again, he didn't apply. We appointed somebody, it was on the agenda, we voted unanimously. And now to ask us to rescind that vote and put him there, it's just not fair. And I get it and I understand it, but this is also, I put it on the individual and the onus of the individual too, should be paying attention to what's upcoming appointments. That's the only part of the agenda you have to really pay attention to if you're on a board, is the upcoming appointments, because if you know your appointment's coming up, don't you think you want to reapply if you want to be on it? That's the only thing, so I say we take no action on this.
I would agree.
Great. All right, new business?
Approval of the sales of the surplus vehicles on gov deals.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moving second, any discussion? Mark?
Per our charter, we are seeking council approval to put one surplus sale item on Gov Deals. That item being a 1991 Chevy K 1500 from DPW.
The four-wheel drive?
A lot
That's
of
not on
years.
the agenda. How many miles?
All in favor?
Need track.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Proclamation declaring November as Lung Cancer Awareness Month.
Move the proclamation.
Second.
Moving seconded, Mark?
Yeah, we have a request from the Lung Cancer Association to pronounce November as Lung Cancer Awareness Month. They sent a sample proclamation, which our clerk adjusted to West Warwick's needs, and it's before you tonight for consideration.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
School building committee update.
Briefly, the planned community conversation for tomorrow night has been postponed and rescheduled for Wednesday, December 18th, still at 6 PM and still in the high school auditorium. The decision was made to postpone that to give us a little more time to make the recommendations more commensurate with what we expect to be the budget available to fulfill the many needs that have been identified. So we're still on target to have a proposal and a plan submitted to the Rhode Island Department of Education in February. So we're just delaying that. So our next formal community event regarding the school building committee will be Wednesday, December 18th.
Any questions for Mark? Thank you, Mark.
A resolution approving change order to bid award 2025-1 to Bosolo Brothers for the Prompton Playground. 2024-88.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Mark?
So as you're aware, the Crumpton Playground bid award winner was Bousselet Brothers, Inc. And they originally bid $390,000 for that job. There's been two items that have come in that we've looked to change. The first is an extension of one of the retaining walls and we want to do that for both security, support, and aesthetics. That change order was for $3,600. And the second one, more importantly, was a change order to the sub base to the poured in place surface. If you've seen it, it came out very nice. We were originally going to do that in-house with DPW. But based on some conversations, the conditions of the ground, in conversations with the installers, we decided that we wanted the contractor to do it. I wouldn't call it more professionally, but they had the much better equipment and expertise to do it as part of, and it strengthens the warranty for the poured in place. So we're much more confident in the way it was done. So that change order is before you to change that total to $411,600. And at this time, we're not seeking additional funding because we already have, between the DEM grant and the ARPA funds that are approved, we're looking to stay within that budget at this time.
Any questions for Mark? Do we have that? The only thing I do remember was a
Document.
the math problem.
Right, that was fixed.
That's
yeah,
411
that's
is
fixed,
correct.
so-
Right.
That's
Right.
good. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution awarding the bid for on-call roadway improvement project, contract 2025-03.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moving second. Mark?
So I was hoping Jim Jeremiah would be here to explain this a little better, but in discussions with him based on the funding sources that we have and some flexibility as we move forward, we designed the RFP that went out as a on-call, or in my mind, kind of an à la carte type of RFP. So based on, we received, I think, 6 responses. Jim Jeremiah and his crew reviewed all the bids, made sure they were apples to apples, and he's recommending the lowest bidder, which is Vinagro Materials of Johnston, for a 2-year period with these on-call or à la carte pricing. Should they be awarded the bid, then in the very near future, I'll be coming back with the funding sources that we propose for 2025's work and the list of streets that we're looking to do over the next few years.
Any questions for Mark?
Considerable difference.
So this is for To do roads, though, correct?
Correct. So essentially, you're just awarding the company
To do the road.
to do the work. And we'll work with them once we specify the roads we want to get the pricing estimates and allocating a set amount of money for
Whatever roads they
for
need to.
next construction season, and then we'll do it again the following year.
When you receive the bids, so the difference between 1 and 7 is
Significant.
$800,000.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Did anything that stands out, why there's a big difference, or?
Not that was clearly explained to me. I mean, the ones that are closer together are much more consistent amongst the various categories. I wouldn't pretend to have the expertise to be able to explain their bidding methods.
I have a question on this though, on the bidding. I'll use this as an example for the process though. And I don't know anybody from these companies, but if you have we'll just take, say, 1 and 2, difference of $150,000. Say one company gets it of any type of bid, and they agree to a certain price, then all of a sudden you get into the scope of the work, and then there's a change order that comes in. We need more money for this, and more money for this. That ends up exceeding the next bidder by quite a bit of money. How does that work?
They're assuming that the second bidder or third bidder would not have the same change order. So usually, if there's someone that's paying attention to what's going on, if the change order is legit, it's really not going to be that many more percentage points higher than the initial bid, unless they're digging deeper and they find something, or there's a problem with a environmental issue or indigenous people type of.
Which would have happened with any company that.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you have numbers like this, as the manager indicated, if you look between 2 and 6, those are pretty much average. J.H. Lynch is out of whack, I would just say, because it doesn't really conform to the rest. But 1.2 to 1.6, that's not that much of a differential for these types of jobs.
The only thing I don't see, and maybe I'm blind, is there asphalt prices on here? And the reason why I'm asking that is we want to commit to asphalt prices right now if the price of oil goes down drastically. In other words, I will say 6 years ago, oil was $1.50 a gallon. Last year it was probably $3 to $4 a gallon. So
Normally, these contracts are beneficial to the vendor because that price of asphalt may go up or down. So they usually don't tie themselves into that because they have no idea what the cost might be within the year or the next 6 months. But you can certainly inquire prior to signing this.
So wouldn't that be the same answer, though? It's going to be the same from just about everyone?
I don't think there's gonna be that much of a differential
Yeah, I don't
where
know.
you purchase it from, but it could be. I mean, if you're buying larger volumes of asphalt, I mean, you might get a better rate, if it's liquid asphalt. So I mean, I'm perhaps,
you remember the 2006, 2010
yes, I do.
era of,
I do.
we had a situation, I think if I remember correctly, in Ward 5, nothing against you weren't here, Mark, but, remember
absolutely.
that said, councilman said, well, the price of oil today is a lot cheaper, and I don't think my money should be, I remember he
Right.
bickering and moaning and groaning that the price wasn't, and I agree with them. I mean, if we're signing an agreement now and asphalt is, I'm not gonna say half the price, but 2/3 of the price, a third's knocked off, then what?
I can tell you that whoever we award it to, I'll set up a meeting with them immediately and have conversations with them. The last 2 years that we've had, whether it had been Miozy or whoever, we've come in under and they've worked very well with us. All the companies have a great rapport with them, so whatever we need to do, we'll do to make things right. There won't be a. Excuse me?
Would that be put in writing, that the price of asphalt?
No, we can't. They'll never go with that. Never in a million years will that happen.
Hold on, we're not even, I'm wasting my time here. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's why I asked if it was on here, because That price isn't even negotiable on here, so it's not
Right.
on here,
No,
so that's
I
not a
think
whole.
that's everything else.
Correct.
Yes,
That's all the
yes,
sublet stuff.
yes.
So we're good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resolution authorizing the payment for the purchase of 2024 F-150 pickup trucks.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moved and seconded. Anybody want to talk on this? Shouldn't have gone
Let
too
the
far,
director.
Jeff.
Good evening, council. Yeah, we're looking to replace, one of our foreman's vehicles, which is an '07, which is on its last leg, and one of our parks vehicles, which is also an '07 and on its last leg. So we're looking to increase our fleet. Those two trucks, will be put into the mix of things, and two other ones will have plows put on them, for winter operations. So we're just trying to add to our fleet and keep them updated and keep them where they're supposed to be. We're getting there. We're moving along. We're doing well, but, those couple trucks definitely need to be replaced. They're on their way out, body wise.
Any questions for Jeff?
So you will be using, what are you gonna do with the two that you're taking out of service?
The two that were taken out of service,
Yeah,
well, they'll end up going on golf teams.
that was the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's the process. of
Yep. Okay.
So you've already gotten, I'm sorry,
No.
you've already gotten a price from Tasca?
Yes. Yep.
And what's the process with that? Do we go look around? Do we go to Flood? Do we go to
Well,
Madden? Do we go to all these other places?
Tasker is on the MPA. They're on the master price agreement. Flood is not. A lot of places aren't, to be honest with you. So we went with we ordered our two 6-wheelers from Tasker.
Mhm.
And so we continued to go with them. They gave us a pretty good price. Obviously, the price of vehicles is going through the roof. It's crazy. And, these actually have to be built. I kind of figured you could buy from Peter to pay Paul, get two from somewhere else, and then, but no, they have to be built because it's the whole MPA process.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jeff?
Do we know that, because we use the master price agreement,
Mhm.
do we know that that's always the lowest price?
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not, but we've made a lot of phone calls and they're all pretty much around the same price. Not a lot of companies, are coming down from the MSRP price. That is it. You have to really sit and talk with a salesman to get them to budge on that.
As a practice, we always check because he's right. It's not always the best. It's usually the easiest, but it's not always the best. So
We should sit down with Elise a little more because I know they're always very generous to helping us.
A lot of people don't understand what the master price agreement is, to be honest with you. You call a lot of these, dealerships and stuff and they don't have a clue what you're talking about. So yeah, I know it sounds,
Yeah, it
yeah,
surprises me.
right. And you try to explain it to them and it's like talking a different language to them, to be honest with you, so.
Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
They look good in the Genesis.
Approval of the 2025 town council meeting schedule.
Move the schedule.
Second. Move second, any discussion? All the dates are solid.
Yeah.
We
Sarah
can
went
adjust
over
as we
that.
go on.
Correct.
All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Upcoming appointments, Dewey Youth Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy as an alternate member for a 3-year term. Dewey Youth Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy as a regular member for a 3-year term. Tax Assessment Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term. School Building Committee, architectural and engineer construction experience needed. Tree warden must be licensed. Recreation Committee, I can't say, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term, Chris Wart, 250. Commission, the Tucket River Authority, appointment to fill vacancy for unexpired term ending June 2026.
Public comment, before we get started, I first want to apologize to the council and the town of West Warwick. I just want to recognize, and we probably should have did at the very beginning with a moment of silence, but West Warwick lost two wonderful gentlemen last week. One by the name of David Perry. Dave, one of Dave's claim to fame is bringing that West Warwick caboose to West Warwick and many other things. And then also Paul Richards, who served on a couple of different boards here in town, rec committee for many, many years. I mean, yeah,
Died last Thursday. Yeah.
his obituary, his
Prada.
wake is actually at Prada this Thursday, 4 to 7. And he served as on the Board of Canvassers and also the Parks and Rec Committee for many, many years. And I'm shocked, just as you are, because on election day, I was sitting here talking to him in the Holy Ghost parking lot. And unfortunately, at Dave Perry's funeral or wake, we got the email earlier in the day, but I also spoke to the chairman of the Board of Canvassers. And yes, it was very hard for that group also, so. Prada Funeral Home, 4 to 7 on Thursday. And funeral is Friday. And again, I apologize, I should have did it at the very beginning, but. Okay, with that, any other public comment?
Eric, 62 Andrews Ave. A question for Mr. Manager. Have we made any headway on the drainage on industrial? Because we're gonna get an inch and a half of rain and the coffee pot will be brewing if you want to come watch some flooding.
There is no firm updates on a plan to move forward on the town, from the town's perspective as of today.
Have we retrieved the plans from the engineer that drew them?
I don't have that specific information in front of me tonight on what.
How much longer do we have to keep kicking it down the road? A while? Do I give I hate to do this, but do I give the attorneys the green light for negligence? Because it's already written. I think we need to just make a resolution here soon. We know there's a problem. We know what the solution is. We have the plans. We have people saying that they don't know what the plans are. We all know the difference. We've had meetings. And it's a situation. Been known since before 2010 and happened in 2010. No rectifications have been done since 2010. Money was distributed from FEMA for the floods. I can go on and on. We've given you everything. We've given you the plans. We've sat in the office. Al DiFiore has agreed on everything. He's told you everything that we've given is true. All we're asking is to figure this out together. But if we have to push, we're gonna push. I'm not gonna flood. And I'm not gonna sit there and watch it fill ever again.
As I said, at this time, I don't have an answer for
Will we have
what
one
the
soon?
town's responsibility is to correct that.
The town's
that area.
responsibility is to get rid of the water, because it was the town's responsibility to begin with that plan. The town engineer signed off on that plan. We know that. So the town's responsibility is to open up that line and drain it out. We don't want to go down that road again, but it's cut and dry. Timmy will make a payday, but at the end of the day, Reed's Landscape will make another one. Actually, FJN Realty.
Again, Council, I don't have an answer. From my perspective, what I've heard, I don't believe it's cut and dry. So I think,
It's cut and dry. The line goes down Noon's Lane.
responsible and interested parties can take whatever path they think they need to take.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
No, me either, so.
So,
Glad to
It's
have
all
another meeting.
cryptic.
We'll all come to another meeting and we'll fill you in. I mean, it's there. It's cut and dry. Except for we gotta deal with Noons again, and this town doesn't like to deal with Noons. We know that. There's a line that goes down Noons Lane that drains out Industrial Lane. but it doesn't work. And there's piles of loom sitting on top of it right now, and my whole property right now is like a moat when it fills, because it's been blocked all the way around on his side. The drains have been checked, the drains have been cambered, the drains have been, all that, everything's been done, the town's done it. We know what's going on, and we know how to get rid of it. It's cut and dry. But if we can't move with it, then we have other ways to make it move. Don't want to do it. We're trying to do business with the town in a easy work together mode here, but the resolution's on paper since a long time ago. Let's do it. We've even offered to do it. Work with you. Like, we'll bring the equipment in, we'll dig the hole, we'll put the pipe in. Let's do it. But we haven't talked about it? I mean, come on. It's crazy.
Any other public comment? Mark, the only thing I would suggest on that, if you can just send an update to the council on the whole thing so they're aware of the matter.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. We should go see the Wizards.
Oh, and the Wizards are playing